Well, the governorship and House of Assembly elections have been postponed till the 18th of March, so we're back counting down all over again. Thanks for joining us on the program. I am Nifemi Ogunto. You can join the conversation live on Twitter using the hashtag TVSA Countdown. Remember to tag me at Nifemi Ogunto. The Court of Appeal yesterday gave the nod to INEC to reconfigure the BVAS for the governorship election, but the Commission says the ruling came in too late for the reconfiguration to be concluded in time. INEC then said it has taken what it calls the difficult but necessary decision to reschedule the election. This also means campaigns will continue till midnight of Thursday, 16th March 2023. That's some 24 hours before the new rescheduled date for the poll. But let's talk about INEC's rich history of postponing elections for a bit. The 25th February presidential election this year was, as a matter of fact, the first time INEC wasn't going to postpone the general election in 12 years. In 2011, voting had already started in some parts of the country when INEC announced that the election had been moved by 2 days due to late deployment of electoral materials. INEC postponed the 2015 elections a week before its initially scheduled date for 6 weeks due to insecurity. Security operatives at the time told INEC they were commencing a 6-week special operation against Boko Haram insurgents in the northeastern corridors of the country and would rather not be distracted by the elections. 4 years after, INEC postponed the elections by a week. In fact, we're already in the studio 5 hours to the start of the polls, citing logistic and operational challenges. It's 2023. This time, after conducting the presidential election on schedule, INEC is saying that the postponement of the governorship and House of Assembly poll is to make for adequate timing to reconfigure the bimodal voter accreditation system that we call the BVAS. Recall that the Presidential Election Tribunal had restrained the Commission from tampering with the sensitive materials, including the BVAS that was used in the 25th February presidential election. Of course, candidates of the PDP and the Labour Party rejected the outcome of that election, and they wanted to supervise and have, a hand on the sensitive materials. We have more in this report.
After the Court of Appeal's ruling granting the Independent National Electoral Commission permission to reconfigure the bimodal voter accreditation system, it became almost clear that INEC will need more time to reconfigure more than 176,000 BVAS. The Court of Appeal had granted the People's Democratic Party, the Labour Party and their respective candidates, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi's request to inspect all sensitive materials used in the conduct of the recent presidential election. The two opposition political parties rejected the election results, in which INEC declared the All Progressives Congress candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as winner. They called for the conduct of a fresh poll. They also approached the court seeking permission to inspect all sensitive materials and restrain INEC from tampering with them. But INEC approached the court on Monday to seek permission to reconfigure the BVAS. This request was only granted on Wednesday, 2 days to the election. INEC says this approval to reconfigure the BVAS has come far too late. The Electoral Commission will also need to be better prepared this time around in terms of logistics and other arrangements that will enhance the conduct of the election. The postponement of the Governorship and State House of Assembly election may have caused a bit of inconvenience and altered arrangements already been made to vote on Saturday, but it will also give candidates and political parties more time to campaign and canvass for votes. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
And this decision by INEC has elicited different reactions from across the country. That's what we're talking about on the show today. We're also going to be looking at the technicalities of the almighty BVAS, what they call the game changer in this election. But we spoke to a cross-section of Nigerians about how they feel as regards this latest news.
The postponement is a good omen to the democracy of this country. First, the errors, the mistakes committed by INEC through the BVAS, it is now time for the authority there to to rectify it. With their stand now is clearly defining that INEC is truly out to prepare an election that is highly credible.
So if it's just to reconfigure the BVAS, I mean, 5 days is enough for them to configure. So, I mean, on the 18th, Nigerians should come out and then make sure that they vote in mass for whoever they want. But let the election be acceptable by everybody. Let everybody not feel shortchanged. Let them not disenfranchise anybody. Let it be acceptable by both international community and we, the voters. That's just what we want. We want the election to be acceptable.
It does not affect me in any way. I think it is a welcome development for the aggrieved party, PDP and Labour Party, in order for them to check. I think it's a very good thing. This is a democracy. Everybody should be allowed to take a redress.
And about the postponement of this election, for the governorship election, to me, it's a very nice one in order to allow the INEC officials to upgrade or to reset the Viva this thing, so that they will conduct the governorship election successfully for us.
Historically, it's not the first time INEC will postpone any election. We were even looking at the presidential election to be postponed before it was eventually conducted. However, what we should look at is the doubt that may be created by the postponement. You know, ordinarily Nigeria criticizes easily. Nigeria get doubtful easily on the issue of electoral process. But the one that we are facing is about the technological innovation associated with our electoral process. And therefore, we must not be in a hurry to have that election without proper process to be done.
Now that BVAS is part of our electoral process, which personally I so much like, because the machine has been able to reduce the violence that we used to witness and the kind of ballot box snatching and the likes. So BVAS is a good machine, which I love the innovation.
I have here with me in our Lagos studio political correspondent Demola Lawrence. Also joining me live is Ekena Amechi in Delta. Larry Adeyemi is also live in Gombe State. They've been following reactions trailing the decision of INEC to postpone this election. For many people here in Lagos, INEC's decision is a spoiler, especially those who have their lives planned out. But some would say, well, it should be expected because we've been postponing elections for the past 12 years. But what are you hearing from the political stakeholders in Lagos?
Okay, so I think, first of all, it has two legs. So when I say it has two legs, the politicians themselves feel that, okay, they've done so much in the last how many months, and all of a sudden, INEC is going to postpone the election. And the second leg, of course, is what the electorate are also saying. Is it good or bad? It's up to them, mixed reactions there. But for politicians, they feel that, this time around, the election, the campaigns were too long. And now that INEC says we are going into another election, but there's going to be a break, so we're going to postpone it. They're saying the finance that it comes with it, the mobilization that it comes with it, the consultation that it comes with it, is going to take them another time, another 1 week. Of course, is it going to be good for them? Mixed reactions as well. Some says it's a way of saying I want to spend more money. Some say I'm going to consult more. So for politicians here in Lagos that I went out to meet today, they've been looking at the fact that what INEC did, looking at what the BVAS, trying to reconfigure it, it's a welcome development, but they should have also put into consideration the things that have happened in the course of the campaign.
Absolutely. We'll get back to what really is happening in Lagos and how people are reacting to this. Let's turn to Gombe State, where Larry Adeyemi is also standing by. Larry, talk to us about the situation in Gombe, aftermath INEC's announcement.
As in Lagos, here in Gombe, it's a mixed feeling because politicians don't want, it's all disgruntled. They feel that they already put so much work into it. They were ready to go to the polls and cast their ballots. But voters in Gombe that I spoke with said that they feel it's disappointed because schools have been shut for about 2 days now. the tendency and the trend has been that before elections, even before the presidential elections, schools were shut. Secondary schools, primary schools, both public and private schools had been shut for like 2 days before the voting. And that's the same thing. School had been shut since Wednesday, and they feel it's disappointed that now their kids would have missed about like 5-6 days of school. Next week, it's not also very certain schools will be open next week. So it's a mixed feeling. But residents that I spoke to said that if this time is going to allow INEC to ensure that the process is rancor-free, the BVAS work effectively, then they are certainly pleased that it's been postponed by 1 week. They are willing to wait for 1 week if the election is going to come and their candidates or the candidates of their choice emerge. But in Gombe, it's a mixed feeling. The politicians are not very happy. The voters are willing to give INEC the benefit of a doubt and wait for a 1 week extra.
So INEC has also said that campaign can continue until 24 hours before the rescheduled date. What's your expectation of how much of reaction are you getting from political parties to extend the campaign for yet another 7 days, Larry?
It's an opportunity for them to reach the people that have not been reached already, to convince the undecided voters. There's a particular polling ward area, the largest in Gombe, that's the Shamaki ward, that has 79 polling units in that ward. The agents for some of the major political parties there have already been mobilized. So it's an opportunity for these politicians to go back to their base, to mobilize them, to ensure that they get their messages across. Though it's 7 days. In politics, 7 days is a very long time. A lot of dynamics will change, a lot of mobilization, consultation, grassroots operations will go on. So many of them are happy that they have more time to campaign. And some of the intrigues that happen in the dying minute, they have time to also re-strategize. And let me also talk about security agencies. I was with the Commissioner of Police a little earlier today, and he said that this also gives them more time to deploy their men to make sure that they can cross their eyes, their T's and dot their I's, and make sure that everything goes on well. So to a large extent, it's a good decision by INEC, as long as the process will be completed and it will be record-free.
Hold on, Larry. Let me get to Delta State, where Ekenamechi is also standing by. Mixed reactions in Lagos and Gombe. What's the situation like in Delta?
All right, Nifemi, you know, this election is quite a contentious one in Delta State, and it has reached FIFA pitch in Delta State because of, and then the postponements just actually puts, you know, like a vent to the FIFA pitch situation that the campaign has gotten to, and politicians preparing to go to their places, and of course they've mobilized. But all that one now has been set aside until next week, when they will go back to the field to ensure that they win their unit. We know what happened in the presidential election, and to recount, there's a lot of null votes in the last presidential election, and which, if you ask me, the politicians, even the electorate, have to watch out this time to ensure that, because I won't call it voter apathy, because on the election day, I went out and I saw a lot of people coming out to vote for the very first time, and looking at it, the number of registered voters, 3.2 million, 22.8 collected their PVCs, and then we are recording abysmal, the lowest turnout, the lowest votes cast in the history of this state in the presidential election. And so they have to do more to ensure that people come out, and of course the votes are not cancelled and units are not cancelled because of as a result of violence, and of course snatching of ballot board and all whatnot. Nifemi, is actually going to be very, very interesting in this week that have the INEC have extended the election to, because of looking at it, they have to go back again to re-strategize, to remobilize, and of course, if there is any loopholes in the political parties, they have to, you know, make sure that they bridge it. And for the vice presidential candidate, who is also the governor of this state, the vice presidential candidate of the the opposition party in the state in Nigeria, who is also interested in this one. He has come back from Abuja to actually lead the campaign, this last-minute campaign, but it has to be extended to 1 week now to ensure that they reach out to more electorates to convince them why they need to continue in the pattern.
Seems like it's more time for politicians to put their acts together. And also you talked about voter education. Has it affected not votes in that part of the country? Just one more minute, Demola. What's the political mood in Lagos? What are you reading, particularly now that the elections happen?
So I think I just want to back up what Ikena said, looking at the voter turnout on the election day. For example, you have over 7 million people who collected their PVC in Lagos. Over 6 million rather, 7 million registered voters. On the day of election, just 1.3 million, came out to voted. So this also gives them enough time to do more consultation. But what is the mood for this is the fact that Lagosians are saying that they want to give INEC the benefit of doubt to go into that election and make sure if their vote is properly counted, they want to believe that it will be free and fair and credible coming on the 18th of March.
Political correspondent Demola Lawrence in Lagos, Ikena Amici in Delta, Lanre Adeyemi in Gombe. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I'll be back for more updates when you have them. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll be asking questions as to the technicalities of the BVAS. Stay with us. Now let's find out more on how the BVAS works. Tech expert and innovation officer Yega Africa, Samuel Folorusho, joins me on the countdown. Thank you for joining us on the program. The BVAS, we are told, combines the smart card reader features, the Z-part functionality in one device, and also performing functions like the facial and fingerprint verification, and allowing result sheets to be uploaded via INEC's result viewing portal. But I'd like you to quickly walk us through the technicalities of the BVAS. It's an Android device, right?
Well, having me, yes, the BVAS is an Android device, but as we all know, the bimodal voter accreditation system is designed to work with either the fingerprint or the facial recognition software, so which is an upgrade from the smart card reader that was used in 2015 elections. So for the BVAS to function, let me break down the technicalities for you. For the BVAS to function optimally on election day, every data for the polling unit a particular BVAS is assigned to is preloaded into the BVAS. So this gives the BVAS the opportunity and the advantage to work offline, not relying on any network during accreditation and voting. So the only time the BVAS requires internet connectivity is when it comes to its second function of the day, so the electronic transmission of results. So that are the two major functions of the BVAS on election day.
We understand that the BVAS can also only be activated on the specific time and date of an election. And INEC is saying it needed to reconfigure it for activation on the rescheduled date that we now know as March 18. Help us understand the process of this reconfiguration. What really is INEC reconfiguring?
Okay, yes. To help us better understand what INEC means by reconfiguring, it's one, if you understand the election process, especially the accreditation process, is that every voter is permitted to be accredited once. You cannot be accredited more than once. So, and the BVAS take record of every accreditation it conducts. So, which means the BVAS takes the count of every accreditation. And if you will recall, the presiding officer before accreditation begins is meant to display the BVAS to the voters on ground, and it must show 0 accreditation it must show zero accreditation. If the BVAS shows otherwise, they need to request for a change of the BVAS. So for INEC to do any election, another election, they have to reset the BVAS. So for example, if the INEC take the BVAS, in the state it is currently without reconfiguring to the polling unit, they won't be able to accredit voters that have voted in previous election, which is in the presidential election that was just concluded on February 25th. So this is what INEC practically means by reconfiguring, because they need to reset the BVAS for fresh accreditation.
Is this going to be done manually? Because we have over 176,000 of them.
Yes, exactly. This is why they've said they need a particular number of days for the reconfiguration, because imagine you have to reconfigure 176,000 plus BVAS across the country. Yes, it has to be done by a personnel on ground in every INEC offices.
Everyone is concerned, Samuel, about the data from the Presidential National Assembly elections, which INEC says it will be backed up and saved on its cloud facilities, including IREV. So we're hearing a lot about back-end data of the BVAS. How susceptible is this system to being hacked?
I think, Nifemi, if you agree, that is a question for the Commission to answer, because the Commission need to rebuild the trust of Nigerians coming from what happened on the 25th of February in this election. So the Commission need to tell Nigerians that this data that will be backed up will be secured, and also for what it was, the Commission needs to be transparent with this process of reconfiguring and this backup that they are about to do, because they need to, because once this data is publicly available for Nigerians, the less it is for it to be compromised. The harder it is for evildoers who want to take advantage of the system to compromise it. As we speak currently this afternoon, only 165,143 results have been uploaded on IREV. So that is 93% of the results for the presidential election. We are still left with a total of 11,463 result sheets left to be uploaded on IREV. So these are the things the Commission needs to improve on. But for the question you asked, how secure, I think the Electoral Commission needs to come and tell us how secure this backup process is going to take.
Do you understand the technical explanation for what appears to be the delay you've talked about? Because in previous off-cycle election, the IREV worked pretty well, having close to 90% of those results uploaded by 10 p.m. on election day. You've heard INEC speak as to the challenges it faced. What do you think have been done to help INEC achieve better results in this regard?
Yeah, for us at Yaga Africa, example, we've made several recommendations coming from from our observation in Ekiti and the Osun elections. So one of the things we highlighted and we recommend the Commission to do in Osun after the Osun election is to expand the bandwidth of these servers, increase the capacity of these servers. Because if you recall in Osun, up until about 4 p.m., the IREV was not accessible to the public because they said they have so much traffic on this site. So it is still this recommendation INEC need to look into. If they need to seek technical consultations, I think they should do that. But as to what happened to the IREV is still not clear to a lot of us, and what exactly happened.
Samuel Folorusho, Tech Expert Innovation Officer with Yaga Africa, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the countdown. Well, INEC is clear as to its decision this time. It's saying it's better to be late than to be sorry. It needs to back up data from the presidential election and also reconfigure the BVAS for the governorship election. We're counting down to the 18th of March, the rescheduled date for the governorship and House of Assembly election. And we'll be back every single day bringing you details as to what the stakeholders are up to. That's our show today. Thanks for being a part of it. Remember, you can watch broadcast, a repeat at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And you can also follow up online on all of our social media platforms as we continue the conversation there. I am Nifemi Oguntoye, and I'll be back at the top of the hour with the headline stories.